today?
Good.
My name is Ms. Recop. I'm actually a student of Mrs. Sullivan's. This class is for my music teaching as a professional class. So I'm going to do a 10-minute lesson today on Mozart. I will tell you ahead of time that I do have a short 10-point quiz afterwards. It's multiple choice. It's really easy if you pay attention to my lesson. So if you want to take notes, go ahead. It's fine. So we're going to learn about Mozart. Have any of you heard about Mozart before? Heard of him? Okay, what do you know about him? Anything? What?
He plays music, I think piano.
Okay.
Oh, he writes, he did art.
Okay. All right, so you guys basically know the gist of what you should know about Mozart, that he was a composer, that he wrote music. Good, next slide. He was born in Salzburg, right here. This is in Austria, over in Europe. Next slide. A little brief biography. Of course, there's tons to know about Mozart. Many books, many lessons. Of course, I'm going to break it down. And I picked out facts that I thought were very interesting about it. His father, Leopold, was a violinist. I know a lot of people with their kids, if they have a certain instrument, they usually try to push that on their kids. Well, he went completely different and did piano. Growing up, he traveled through Germany, Austria, France, England, and Italy. Now, he did this at a young age, probably during his teens, early teens, probably your age now. Have any of you traveled this way, as many countries as Mozart did when he was your age? I mean, we're lucky if we get out of the state of Ohio. So, he started playing piano at age 3, really young, and he started composing at age 5. I started composing whenever I got into college, and it was hard for me then as 18 years old. So I can only imagine at 5 what this child prodigy must have been to see. He improvised with Johann Christian Bach. He received honors from the Pope. He married Constanze Weber, and that actually is a funny story because he was dating her older sister. Things didn't work out, so he went to her and married her. She was pregnant 6 times, only 2 survived, which back in that day, it was hard to, to have a child survive. It was very time. So he was a composer of the classical era. Does anyone else know a famous composer from that period?
Beethoven.
Okay, good job. That's another popular one that most people know. Okay. Bach. There you go. So you guys are pretty good so far. He became ill at age 35 with rheumatic fever, and he died 2 weeks later. Next slide. These are some fun and interesting facts that I found about Mozart that I thought was kind of cool. He spoke 15 different languages fluently. I took Spanish in high school, and it was hard to learn another one besides English. He did this fluently as English is to us. So I thought that was very cool. Mozart was able to hear a song at one time, and he was able to play it back for you correctly. My theory class, we always joke around that you can't, you always have to use pencil, unless you're Mozart, you can use a pen, because he doesn't make mistakes. There's a movie out, have any of you seen Amadeus? Okay, do you like it? No? Okay. Well, it's one of my favorite movies. It's about Mozart, and there's a couple of examples and times in that movie where he does that, and where he almost kind of makes fun of other people, like, oh, this is easy, I can play this. So, his last piece, oh, I'm sorry, the child prodigy part of him, everyone loved. Leopold, his father, took him around and showed him to other people, other countries, and said, this is my son, he can play. Well, when Mozart got older, and he played like this, people weren't as interested. It was almost expected, like, oh, well, you're good at music, you're older, you can do this. So people were more interested when he was younger. His last piece, the Requiem, wasn't finished when he died at 35. So what he had was one of his students finish the rest of the piece. Next slide, please. Now, Mozart, you've heard his stuff in a lot of movies, TV shows, probably don't realize it. These are some of the ones that I picked out that were probably the most popular, that some of you might know most of them. Ace Ventura, Pet Detective, Batman, Charlie's Angels, Daddy Daycare, There's Something About Mary, Amadeus, Fame, G.I. Jane, Runaway Bride, Star Trek, Romeo and Juliet. I also put Bugs Bunny and Tom and Jerry. There's a lot of classical stuff in cartoons like those. different composers, not just Mozart. You'll find that out as well. So I have some listening examples that I want you to hear. I'm only going to play maybe 30 seconds of each of them. I picked these 4 because I figured these might be the 4 you might know.
Let me go ahead and play.
Mm-hmm.
Track 1.
Mm-hmm. Raise your hand if you've ever heard this song before. Does anyone have this song on their iPod? No. No.
I have Beethoven's
Okay. All right.
Thank you.
Go ahead, next. Yeah, I try to pick up most of his famous pieces that you should have heard somewhere, probably. Have you ever heard this one? I know it gets played a lot in our school by our professor. Plays it a lot. Okay, this one, the next one is probably the most popular. You guys, I hope have heard this one. If you heard Mozart, you've heard this. There was another Mozart. Right. So, does anyone remember when he was born? It was on the first slide. Did anyone catch that?
Can you go back?
We have a reference.
I don't know. I don't think you can go back to the first slide unless you
Oh, here.
There we go.
That's what I said.
All right. Okay. Anyone do the math? I put it in there for.
32
How old was he
years.
when he died? Okay. All right. So, I'm gonna hit the last slide. I put this funny picture on because I thought this was funny. That you guys should pick up some Mozart music. It's not gonna do you any harm to have it. So I have this 10-point quiz I'm gonna pass out. There's only 5 multiple questions. Answer them as best as you can. And whenever you're finished, just hand them up to me. This shouldn't take you more than a minute.
I'm not coming to you.
No cheating.
No harm.